They say elections are an exercise in democracy. Well, not in Syria. Under President Bashar Al-Assad, elections are an exercise in futility, an elaborate drama to rubber stamp his dictatorship whenever we report on elections. We talk about opinion polls and candidates. No need for that, any of that in Syria. It's Bashar al-Assad all the way. He's set to win another 7-year term in office. What does this mean for the people of Syria, and why is Assad even bothering to hold an election in the first place? Our next report tells you.
Syria is voting for a new president. Actually, scratch that. Syria is voting for Bashar al-Assad. Elections here are pretty straightforward, not to mention predictable. The al-Assad family has ruled Syria since 1971. First under this man, Hafiz al-Assad, he was president until his death in the year 2000. Then the mantle of presidency fell on the reluctant prince, Bashar al-Assad. His election record is every leader's envy. In 2000, he bagged 97.29% of the votes. In 2007, 97.6% of the votes. 2014 was a poor show, just 88.7%. These numbers tell you the story. Elections are stage-managed in Syria. Assad's opponents are political nobodies. There is effectively just one choice, Assad himself. So why hold these elections at all? To retain the pretense of democracy. To tell the world Syria is back on track. The United States, Britain, France, Germany and Italy have denounced the election. They say it's neither free nor fair. But Assad is not looking for validation from the West. He says their opinion has zero value.
As a state, we do not care at all about such statements from Western countries. But more important than what the government says or does not say is what the people say. I think what we have seen during the past few weeks was the enough and clear answer to all of those people, and it tells them that the value of your opinions is 0 and your value is 10 zeros.
Within Syria, Assad retains reasonable support, the kind you get by banning opposition parties. A whole generation of Syrians has grown up seeing just one politician. For them, their president. For them, Syria means Assad.
There are nominees, of course, but we only trust the president. We are not going to vote for a president that we don't know. Who are these other two nominees? We don't know anything about them.
But if you want to know the real Assad, these are the people to meet. The victims of his decade-long war. There are 6.6 million Syrian refugees worldwide. People who fled missiles and chemical attacks. They see this election as a farce.
This is a farce, fooling nations and people. What is this election? He is someone who destroyed a whole country and fragmented it and made millions flee and destroyed Syria. We can't vote for him.
In a normal democracy, Assad may not have survived this election. 80% of his country lives in poverty. Inflation is in double digits. And his war is no closer to ending after 10 years. On paper, 18 million Syrians are eligible to vote, but only a fraction actually will. There is no polling in at least 4 provinces. These are still controlled by the rebel forces. By Friday evening, the results will be out. There are no twists in store. The newspaper headlines are probably ready. A 4th term for the incumbent, and more misery for the people. Bureau Report, WION. World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.